Hey guys, so I'm out here just planting a whole bunch of stuff, filling in all the empty spaces of my garden. There's a blue jay over there on my, always get a drink. Let me show you. Can I turn it around? I couldn't figure out how to turn my phone around, but the blue jay was drinking water out of my seed starting trays. That's really cool. So I'm out here just planting a whole bunch of seeds, filling in the empty spaces, and I'm working on getting my cattle panel put up between my two purple beds, and I'm just going to show you what I've been doing right now. So I went ahead and planted seeds right here for some hyacinth moonshadow beans, and I put like 2 over there. I plant pole beans about every 2 to 3 inches because I have a raised bed. The roots will go down more than out, and so that works just fine for me. Just like over here, these beans are every 2 to 3 inches and they're not bothered at all by it, and I fertilize them to add nutrients. You can grow your plants close together as long as you're giving it enough nutrients that it's not competing. So over here in this bed where I planted the hyacinth moonshadow beans, I'm working over here now, and I planted 2 different kinds of bush beans. I planted red swan bush beans in these 1, 2, 3 rows, and then I planted where are they? There they are. The Roma 2 bush beans in the other 2 rows, and then I'm putting up a cattle panel here where I just put 2 T-posts on each end, just like over there, and my husband takes wire and like wraps it around the cattle panel and the T-post on each of the 4 corners of it. He's just getting his weed whacker. He's like, my brother missed a spot here, so he's just gonna clean that up for me, and then he's gonna come out and put the cattle panel up for me. So when I plant bush beans, I plant them pretty close. I plant them every 2 inches. As you can see, I make little furrows in the soil pretty close together. As I said, like one year I planted a whole like from here to here with bush beans, and this is exactly how I planted them, and they did just fine. I do not fertilize my beans. They're already very high in nitrogen, so if you fertilize your beans, they'll have too much nitrogen and they'll grow beautiful lush green leaves, but they will not make beans. So beautiful vines, but very low production. So I don't fertilize my beans, but I can plant them closely, and they do just fine because, like I said, I have a raised bed and the roots go downward. And this is fresh compost, so any kind of nutrients they need will be readily available for them. So I just plant them like this, and then I just go ahead and cover them up. Gently, as not to make them too deep. See if I see them come up, just poke it down a little more. Okay, so I've got them all covered up here, this whole section, and I'm gonna put just 2 little labels so I remember what they're called. So if like at the end of the season I'm saving seed, I know I have green beans, but I don't remember which variety I have. That way I can just remember what I planted. So a tip with your plant tags, I struggled for many years with my plant tags, and what I found works best, everything used to rub off, even permanent markers. Pencil used to come off, permanent marker, pen. This is what I use now, a black paint marker. That's it. And once it dries, it stays on and it does not wash off. Even if you're spraying it with the hose, it doesn't come off at all. And that's what I find works best for me. So now I'm just gonna water these beans in really well, and then I'm just gonna try not to disturb the soil, and that's it. Okay, so I watered in the beans really well, and you can see my husband put up my cattle panel trellis for me, archway. This one's a little wonky. It's actually, the bed is a little too narrow, so we had to put it on the outside. He could have cut it, but this is fine. And I planted some sugar baby watermelons, 3 on each side. And those can be trellised up. And without support. I've grown sugar babies on a trellis before and they did really great. So I'm looking forward to seeing this covered. And also, it's a little late in the season for me to be planting watermelons from seed, but sugar babies are a earlier variety and they're a smaller watermelon. So I can still get some watermelons even though it's a little bit late in the season. I'm not worried about it at all. Okay guys, so I also cleaned up my Cuban oregano. It just overtakes everything, so I have to constantly trim it back because I have plants growing here, and I also have to I try to keep it in the little box there, or else it just takes over. Oh look, I missed a little piece, but that's okay, I'll just leave it. But yeah, it just grows crazy. So if you're looking for a good perennial that smells good and it's bushy and vining, you can get yourself a Cuban oregano. There is grass growing in it, like through it. I could just, you know, take the time to get in here and pull it out, but I don't. I just don't have a lot of free time. So I have 4 kids and we are a homeschool family, and it just takes up a lot of time. But yeah, I'm glad that I got that pruned up. And so yeah, and I'm really happy with my trellis getting put up over here. Yeah, I'm going to show you what I did over here. Okay, so over here I didn't have anything planted. I decided to fill this whole bed with lots of sunflowers and some zinnias right here in the front. Like I said earlier, or in another video, I don't remember, but I said before, I accidentally gave away all my colorful varieties of zinnias. So I did plant some of the colors that weren't pink and white here, and we'll see what pops up. And then over here on my chicken coop, I got stuff in the way, but I did plant all these blocks full. I decided not to do beans because I have lots of beans. I'm gonna try growing some Illinois squash, some zucchino rampicante, and I'm gonna try to keep it over here where there's less weeds and see if I can control the bugs better. A lot of times I get bugs in my bigger garden beds and it's hard to control them because they hide in the weeds. And then I planted some sunflowers in those blocks of different colors. Or actually, these are the Lemon Queen sunflowers. Those are one of my favorite sunflowers. They're so beautiful. So I'm really excited about all these new seeds. I'm going to keep them watered regularly. I'll probably water them twice a day. Carefully and gently. These are bigger seeds, and so are the sunflowers and zinnias. So hopefully, you know, I just be really careful not to water too heavy to just place the seeds. But these are a variety of sunflowers, not just the Lemon Queen. I did some Lemon Queen, Mongolian Giants, the Red Sun. I did some Pro Cut White, chocolate cherry, a whole bunch of different colors, just all throughout mixed in. So we'll see what comes up. And so over here, I have this little chicken thing. We're looking at the back of it, but I made a little circle around the chicken, and this is where the zucchini rampicante got bug eaten. I planted just a circle of cactus mixed zinnias in here. So I'm going to keep this watered as well, and we'll see what pops up. So, and also in this corner today, I decided to transplant my zinnia from the pot with the basil so it could have some more room here to grow. Normally I wait to transplant in the afternoon for the plant to have a better recovery. It's just wilted because I did it during the day and there's a really strong sun. I was very careful not to disturb the roots as much as possible. And I gave it a really good watering, and so I'm sure this is going to recover just fine. I'm not worried about it at all. But tomorrow morning this should be nice and perky, and I'm also going to water this again this evening when I do my round of watering of my whole garden. So I also planted some lime basil. I used to have a cilantro in here. I had it for I would say about 3 years, and I finally killed it by just being forgetful and not watering it. So I decided to empty the pot. This is my kitchen window pot that I usually have in my kitchen window. Right now I have a ton of tomato transplants, or not transplants, cuttings, tomato cuttings in my kitchen window that I'm rooting out, and they are starting to get roots. I'll have to show you some of those. It's very exciting. And so I just pulled the dead cilantro out and put fresh compost in here, and I'm planting some lime basil, and I'm probably going to have this in my kitchen window for a while. Okay, so that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thanks for sticking around and watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Happy gardening.